You want to start?
Hey guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hey, so today we are going to talk about, I don't know, it's kind of a vague topic.
I was gonna call it the unsung heroes of Yugioh booster sets.
Yeah, the decks that come out and just don't get noticed.
You just complete.
They just don't.
Usually they're overshadowed by like a meta deck, or maybe they're just considered so underpowered you're not even supposed to think about them.
You know, this is something that I've kind of fussed about in videos on this channel a lot. Is I think that it sucks that Konami releases the coolest decks, like some of just the coolest themes you've ever seen, but they just kind of don't get any attention. And it's a two-pronged issue, to be clear. So it's not just Konami's fault, and it's not just like the player's fault, but it's like a mix. Because the easy example, I guess, would be like Amazing Defenders, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Rescue Ace, Makonko, Purely. Three really cool decks. In fact, a lot of the deck builder sets are sort of like this. And sometimes they come out and people really like one or two of the archetypes. Like Runic has picked up, in the competitive scene, Labyrinth has, but then Valence, no. Or you think of some of the sets like Ancient Guardians, where pretty much all three of them, that was Sulfaccord, Ogdoadic, and Ursarctic, they just no one likes any of them.
I really feel bad for Evil Twins and Prank Kids. They just didn't see a lot of play.
They just didn't. Shame. We're being sarcastic, by the way. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like these decks will come out and I guess it's weird because I'll see people online who are complaining about I hate, Kashtira, I hate whatever these meta decks are. And it sucks because it's I don't know. I think Rescue Ace is a cool concept. You know what I mean?
They're red things.
They're rescue. It's emergency rescue people, like firefighters or whatever.
Power Rangers, SPD.
Because one of them's a fire hydrant. The level 1 monster is a fire hydrant. Yeah, but so it's kind of a shame though that these cards will come out and they just don't they don't get much attention, and it's partly because they aren't competitive, but it's also Konami hasn't given these decks a place
it would be
where
nice
they
if they
can
had
be
their own format or something.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Tell me more about it.
I mean, maybe since they keep making these deck builder decks and they come out in sets of 3, maybe a format that only uses these deck builder decks. Maybe it limits the type of engines you can run with them, so that they have to be more of a pure style deck. Because let's be honest, even the best of the deck builder decks, Drytron, is nothing if they can't run the Bentons and stuff. They can't run the Evas.
I think that would be really cool. I think that a format that is just relegated to the deck builder sets, because you guys would be so surprised. All deck builder archetypes are really, really well balanced between each other. Now, this isn't a lot of people don't know this because most people don't really play them in that way. But if you take any deck builder set from the last 3-4 years, and you just pick any of those archetypes, build it pure, or with just the stuff that comes in the set. So you can add in a couple of Doki Doki and Adamancipator or something.
But you take out the high-powered archetype text.
Yeah, you don't they're all really, really well balanced. You could do Rika versus Witchcrafters. You could do Evil Eye versus Purely. You could do.
I don't think I want to play Eldritch Pure.
You could do Eldritch versus any of them. They match up really well. It's just that usually they just don't get attention, and it's a bit of a shame too, because I think that they're usually some of the most coherent strategies out of the box. Sometimes stuff will come in these main series sets, and it's halfway
oh my god
playable.
They'll have 3 monsters, a spell, and a trap, and it's what does this deck do?
Yeah, it's just not they don't get enough stuff yet in a main set, and they have to wait for the next main set, and then it kind of becomes serviceable. But the deck builder sets are pretty much playable out the gate, and then they just get more down the line. And so I think those are really fun, and a format where that could shine and not feel like it has to compete against literally Kashtira or
Kashtira
whatever,
says,
Despia.
All right, you got 7. I see you have 7 zones there. Lock all of those. You have 3 zones to play with. They are just spell and trap zones.
Yeah, so I think that could be really cool. Another one too, and we have a lot of experience with this in the last couple of years, is the structure decks.
Those are so much fun.
Yeah, so we've been playing loads of that.
The latest structure decks are some of the most fair and balanced things I've ever dealt with. I remember thinking when it came out with the Sacred Beast structure, I was like, whoa, they lost it with this. This is like way like too strong. Structure decks aren't supposed to be this powerful. But then almost, I'm not gonna say all, but almost every structure deck that came out after that, they're pretty good. Just get 3 copies of them and they're moving.
And it's interesting because like I know like recently Trap Tricks has kind of broken the mold a bit and it's like being seen as an actual pretty competitive threat right now. You guys still gotta add a few things that aren't in the structure, but you know.
They could have afforded not to print all the old Trap Tricks in there. They gave them basically everything.
And like evenly and Ash.
Like, come on, man.
But the thing is like, you know, I was even looking at Freezing Chains and like Spirit Charmers. I know those get like a harder rap because they're not like
I'm
as
also
great.
anti-Freezing Chains and Spirit Charmers.
But you get 3 of those and like they're still pretty serviceable decks and they're still pretty fun and
all
like.
right, well you have to play Spirit Charmers.
I might. We have a video coming up where it could happen. We got a little structure deck battle royale we're planning. But like all those structure decks, Crystal Beasts and you know Cyber Strike and all that stuff, like they're pretty fun decks and they have cool boss monsters and they work. And here's the problem though, right? Like for the most part, excluding maybe Trap Tricks recently, those decks still don't have a place. Like they're still like you can't really take that to like a YCS and expect to not get stomped. And I'm not saying that as like it's a possible thing. I'm sure you can do it, but just that like it would be nice again if there was like an avenue for it to happen.
But there is, Paul. YCSs always have structure deck tournaments where there's one structure deck that you all get the same copy of, and then you play 3 mirror matches in a row because that's fun.
Well, is that not the weirdest? Like
I
so
hated
weird.
them, but when I was just getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! And we go to these YCSs, I couldn't really compete, so I go play in these structure deck tournaments. They were pretty much the only way I could play because everyone says, oh, go play side events if you can't compete in the main event. Well, what happens is the salty people drop out of the main event, then they go run the side events, so you can't take your underpowered, what deck was I playing back then?
Probably
I had
like
a dark
Lord
synchro thing. I had like a dark synchro deck that I was running that was terrible at the time. And I was getting beat badly.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I think like when you consider what happens with like how like players perceive decks, it's like if a deck is perceived as bad off the rip, then it just doesn't get played. And it's like because there's only an advanced format in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's not an alternative. The decks just kind of aren't there. Now you can be like us. I mean, we play a lot, like just personally, like just if you can find like a couple of friends, but then you have to. Then there's like that dance of like.
I'm trying to like balance.
Like what are you okay with playing, and what are you and your friends? Because like you know, are you guys like you know hand traps, right? Like that's
some people hate hand traps.
Like hand traps, or even like you know evenly matched.
I hate
Storm.
that card.
Do you want those?
Oh, I hate evenly matched.
Those sort of things.
If you want me to walk away from a table, you drop evenly on me.
Yeah. So. I mean, you know, I guess I think that it would be nice for Konami to have like a deck builder format or something, like the deck builder set format and like a structure deck format. I don't know if I told you, I like messaged some of our Konami reps.
Oh.
And because like we have like sort of some contacts, and don't worry, we don't get to do anything crazy.
Don't tell nobody we
But like, you know, just I'm always giving them feedback, and I'll just be like, hey, I think this would be like, it'd be really cool if there was like a structure deck side event format or something. It's like 3 of, well, they do it. I mean, who knows? But
would be nice.
But yeah,
because those structure decks do have staples in them. So if you're doing a 3x thing, you probably can build something like
there's like Imperm and you know Ash Blossoms in a lot of them. So.
Oh boy, they could put Ash Blossom in that.
Yeah, they've been throwing them in there. So yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Nibiru's gonna be in one.
Yeah, so, I mean, give it time. No problem. They put like Dimension Shifter and stuff in some of them. So
yeah, these staples getting strong.
So yeah, it'd be cool. Would a format like that sound fun to you guys? You can let us know.
Would you play it, or would you rather just play Kashatra Lab versus Labyrinth again?
Yeah. So that's it. Hopefully it happens.
We'll see you guys in the next one.